That Target, no exclusive. They only doing what Apple and Walmart did. You shopping at Amazon or you boycott? You posting on Instagram? That's Meta, boy. Stop it. Y'all know Google owns YouTube. You picking and choosing the politicking as usual. They digging deep for narratives. It's embarrassing. They run out of characters, had to bring back up Cap again. Buddy took a check, I ain't even mad at him. But along with that check, got a sign of non-disparagement. I'm the one they can't control. Y'all better be glad it's him. Yeah. I'm the one they can't control. You better be glad it's him. $500 million back in the community. That's just good math for him. I don't listen to Twitter activists. They type and I laugh at them. There's really no comparison. Y'all check my stats again. I'm bringing folks home to their family. Laws get passed cause him. You can like it or not. We don't do no ass kissing. Ex-drug dealer. You might not like the packaging, but my presence is the president. My gift is rapping. Oh shit. Let's get on some Brooklyn shit.
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha, and when you see this video, this will have been what, 2-3 days later. But like I said, over here we don't really do videos for the relevancy. I'm not trying to hit you off with something that's trending. Jay Z just happens to be one of my favorite rappers, and I have a busy life, so I may have gotten lost in the sauce. It happens, right? That freestyle that he did where he sold out 3 days back to back at Madison Square. Oh no, was it Madison? It was the Yankee Stadium. My bad. Fucking up. Yeah, he was addressing Colin Kaepernick, the Target deal. For all the people out there that don't really understand the mentality that goes along with a person like him, the reason I'm not mad is because well, I've never been really a proponent of protesting. Maybe boycotting, protesting, not really, right? Fuck, we protest. We need to start shooting shit. However, him getting money, I guess, in as of recently from whatchamacallit, from Target, I think that's what it is. I got no problem, right? I ain't watching the nigga pockets. I don't know how long he's had this whole been in cahoots with Target. Nor do I give a fuck because I don't shop at Target. What else? He's talking about Colin Kaepernick. For all the people that's out there that don't really get what he was getting at, Colin Kaepernick called himself protesting and taking a knee and yada yada yada. And as soon as Nike came with a $20 million check, he took it. Now allegedly, and I'm saying allegedly because the people were saying allegedly, nobody has confirmation of this shit. They can't prove if he was offered a position in all those teams that he tried out. Word on the street was that he was offered a position at the Ravens with Baltimore. I think he was offered a position at the Denver Broncos, but they didn't want to play him as a quarterback, so he didn't take it. Me, I feel like personally, nigga, you trying to get back in the league, you should have took the $20 million check and a job, right? That way you can like garner more money. And I don't know if they would have been on his ass about protesting, but he probably could have kept doing that shit. But yeah, him taking a check was actually in direct conflict with the whole taking a knee thing or the protesting in the NFL. So me personally, I think it's all messed up. Jay Z thought he'd speak about it, and I ain't mad at him. Also, I will actually mention I'm glad that Hove cut his bullshit afro off. Now, while I wasn't one of them people that was like on his back about having an afro, because I have long hair, and I don't really give a shit if it was a good look or a bad look. However, as a mainstay staple and a persona that we are familiar with. We were familiar with the Caesar longer than we were with the braids. And like I mentioned in another episode, rappers that actually had braids: Ja Rule, 50 Cent, who else? Nelly. There's some more niggas. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. But yeah, periodically there's been rappers that we knew them with short hair and then they grew braids out of somewhere. Nas, that's what I meant. Nas has braids now. So just the fact Jay Z grew out the locks, we were actually unaccustomed. Real Jay Z fans were unaccustomed to that. He looked crazy as cash shit when he did the blowout. He even more looked like, I ain't gonna say crazy as cash shit, but he looked crazy. That's not the Hove we know. We know the clean cut, polished dude. And while you can be polished with hair, long hair, in the rap world, I don't know if they be having the wrong people do they shit. They just don't come off as polished. The only niggas that have been able to pull off braids that maintain a polished look, and even that's actually subjective, is Snoop Dogg and Bone Thugs and Harmony. Everybody else, when Nelly had braids, right, he come out with the braids, they clean a couple days or a couple months later, they look frizzy and fucked up. Same thing with 50 Cent, Ja Rule. Who else? I mean, Nas had like braids. He wasn't necessarily fucked up, but he don't look like the polished Nas that we used to. So yeah, you gotta go. So I guess Jay Z must have got the memo, or was tired of Dame Dash cooking his ass, saying that nigga breath smell like cinnamon doo-doo, and the braids look like was a fake front lace, which in another episode I proved that it wasn't a front lace, it was actually his hair. I guess he was just getting tired of people cooking his ass. And they say Hove be on Twitter and Instagram with an anonymous burner account, so he probably saw this shit and was like, hold up, man, these niggas, they cooking my ass a little too much. Let me cut this raggedy ass shit off. And I'm glad he did, because like I said, that's not the Hove we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing the polished Caesar, waves Hove. And I'm the type of person, if you have a look, like, maintain that look, because that presents a stable identity. Now, I'm not saying you can't switch your looks up. As an entertainer, when you do, that fucks your brand up. From a marketing standpoint, like when I was in college, I took a marketing class, and branding was actually one of the classes we took. And they state that when you have a brand, whether it's you or a product, when you switch it up, like people especially after so long of having that brand, people identify that brand based off of like how you have represented it for the extended period of time. Sort of like Coca-Cola. People know the ribbon font with the red, whether it's a can or the backdrop. Try to change that, it throws people off. You're not easily recognizable. That's why people get sued when they use something that's similar to a product, because it actually interferes with the branding identity. And cases like Cracker Barrel, people were used to seeing the old white man sitting there on the porch with a barrel. When they just made it a logo that said Cracker Barrel, it took away from the identity and the aesthetics of the brand that people have known and grown to love. Which, I mean, they could have changed it anyway, because, I mean, while it's not a racial slur, cracker, and have a white man sitting there in front of a barrel, but I digress. They were comfortable with it. So yeah, you don't want something to interfere with your brand, whether it's you or the product. And the Afro was taken away from Hove's like branding identity, you know, especially for people that have listened to his music for 25 years, and then the last 10 I'll say 12 years out of that 30 years, you're wearing the locks. We let that shit slide, because even Bob Marley had locks, and then you try to comb it out and wear a fro. It was cringy. I ain't even gonna lie. Even for a whole fan, I found that cringy. I was like, nah, my dog, you gotta go back to the Caesar. Which at this point, I think he's like semi-retired. He ain't making music because he has to. He's making it because he wants to, and he's 56, so he could go either way. However, I really feel like he gearing up for another album. That's just in my soul, in my heart of hearts. He gearing up for another record, People was cooking his ass, and he was like, yo, let me get back to the basics because I'm about to drop some shit. I want these people to recognize me and the product, and this fro fucking it up. So yeah, that's all I got on that. If you like this episode, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out.
No one's ready to do